Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverley and it is lovely to see you today. In this video I am going to be reacting to my episode of Bargain Brits on benefits, so grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. So yes, I was on a TV show. It was a really great experience. I've done a blog post about it and I've also done a video about it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm struggling today. Blog post about it, and I've also done a video about it. So I'll leave links to those down below in the description, as well as a link to the TV show itself and also my episode in particular if you just want to watch my episode. It's a really great series, just with some really wonderful tips and tricks of how to save money and how to live a good life, how to live well even if you don't have a lot. So I've really enjoyed taking you on the journey with me this week. I am sorry this video is a day late, but my health always comes first and I didn't want to have a day in bed spoil everything, but I also didn't want to miss out on just spending some time with you guys and showing you my parts of the video. So I have moved over a bit more than usual so that you can have a bit of the screen with me and watch along with me, and I'm just looking forward to me being able to show you. Even if you're not in the country, you can see the parts, you can watch it along with me, and I'll be talking a bit about the whole process and everything, you know, as we go. But before we do that, don't forget, if you're new here, you can click the subscribe button to become part of the butterfly family. We would absolutely love to have you here. Don't forget to leave me a like and a comment, and also if you want another way to support the channel here, don't forget I do have a Ko-fi link that is down in the description. Any little bit of money will help with running with this channel and will be gratefully appreciated. No pressure, just giving me a like and a comment and a subscribe is more than enough. But grab your cozy blanket, let's watch TV together.
This time, find out how to live the vintage dream for less.
A Hawaiian shirt dress from the 1980s. How beautiful is that? It's the first time that you see me on the show. Oops, getting a bit scandalous there. The first time you see me on the show is kind of a little montage about me. I am somebody who loves sharing about thrifting and witchcraft and vintage fashion. Both of those hobbies, vintage fashion and witchcraft, can be expensive. They can be hobbies that cost a lot of money. There's a lot of things that people think they need to buy or think they need to have. You know, if you want to have that cottagecore aesthetic or whatever it is, then we're made to feel like we've got to spend a lot of money. But by thrifting and by really looking out for good deals, you don't have to spend a lot of money. And it was really important to me when I was asked to be on this show to make sure that both of those hobbies and thrifting itself was really concentrated on. And I'm so lucky that they listened to me, because I think it was really important to just make sure that people knew that this is what I stand for. And if you did find me, if you are watching this channel because of watching me on this episode, welcome first of all. And secondly, yes, that's what this channel is all about. It's about thrifting and finding your love, finding your joy for cheaper. So if you found me through this episode, you will definitely not be disappointed by sticking around. Hint, hint. Click that subscribe button.
Ever wished life costs a little less 2020s and a little more 1980s? For Beverley in Staffordshire, it does.
Oh, this is cute.
She's all about that old school vibe, and she's saving a packet in the process. Whether that's tips on vintage fashion,
paying proper attention to labels is a really good way of making them last longer and save you money.
decking out her house in decades-old decor,
I'm about to lose my mind with excitement.
or putting a timeless spin on modern bits and bobs.
I'm going for stars. It's going to look really nice.
Even her hobby hails from ancient times, because our bewitching Beverley is, well, she's actually a witch.
I think people would expect me to have a big symbol drawn on the floor and to be chanting.
It's not just magic, Beverley really is living the retro dream for retro prices. At her home in Staffordshire, Beverley is fanatical about two things: living a more old-fashioned life for less and witchcraft.
I call myself the vintage witch. I love vintage fashion. I love the idea of the vintage lifestyle without the vintage values.
There's no pointy hats or capes here. While the rest of us are chasing the latest fashion trends for top whack, Beverley sources cheap yet unique vintage pieces from bygone eras, like the fabulous 40s, rocking 50s, and the age of the shoulder pad, the 1980s.
I get them really cheaply off of eBay, or I get them from charity shops. This one is a Hawaiian shirt dress from the 1980s. How beautiful is that?
Ooh, it's just my colour. By getting the threads from online auction sites, Beverley is saving big. She just paid £8 for this tropical delight, where a similar dress in a vintage clothes store could cost around £45.
In witchcraft, we try and be in status quo with nature, look after nature, make sure that we're looking after the planet. And so by keeping these clothes from being destroyed and thrown away, I'm reusing them and absolutely loving them.
For Beverley, a time capsule wardrobe is about more than just looking fabulous.
When I first got sick, I just wore leggings and t-shirts and I felt awful about myself. Then I discovered vintage clothing and vintage fashion.
Beverley has a number of health conditions, which means that she's unable to work, so she relies on her benefits to get by. She receives a personal independent payment as well as employment support allowance.
If those were taken away from us, we would have no money coming in, we'd have nothing.
As well as helping to pay the bills, her benefits allow Beverley to occasionally indulge in her passion for pre-loved fashion. And while the patterns may be big, the prices certainly aren't.
A Moschino jacket, actual Moschino.
A vintage Moschino jacket can go for over £200, and a new one as much as £1,600. So how much did Bev's cost?
I got it for £5. It's one of my best finds.
I bet it is. Beverley's found herself a saving of over £200. Wish I could find one of those on my credit card bill.
Just looking through these clothes, picking out the favourites. I have found some amazing pieces like vintage Laura Ashley, vintage Moschino. That's not what I go looking for. I'm not looking for things to sell on. I'm looking for things that are going to look nice, that are going to make me feel good about myself. For me to be out there telling everybody what benefits I'm on is difficult, but that's a central part of this show, is we're on benefits, and so they do mention it. If you watch season 1, they very much harp on to the benefits and mention them all the time. Thankfully that's changed in season 2. It seems to be less of something that they're talking about constantly, which I'm really glad about, because you don't have to be on benefits to want to save money or to be looking for ways to save money. And so I think it's important to separate the two in a way and to say, okay, well, we're just learning how people on benefits save money and still live their lives. There's so much more to this show than I can explain here. Just give it a go. But for me, it was just a really good opportunity to bring the fact that I'm on benefits, but I don't have to look like everyone else. I don't have to be just sitting around watching TV all day. I'm doing things. I'm doing YouTube videos. I've got a blog. I'm looking after my mom. I'm doing my best to live a good life. And that was so important to me and a big reason why I wanted to do this show. So yeah, showing off some of my best finds was a good way to kind of get people to think about, you know what, I can find some really good items in the charity shop, some really awesome pieces, even Moschino jackets, if that's the sort of thing you're into. Depending on the area that you live in and the sort of shops that you go into and thrift shops that you have in your town, you can find some amazing deals. And that is, let's get on to the next bit.
In Staffordshire, Beverley's determined to keep living a vintage lifestyle while on benefits. Her passion for pre-loved fashion knows no bounds, and she wants to make sure her precious purchases are looked after.
This was $3.99 online, so it's no money at all. But I want to make sure these items last.
To avoid wearing out her wares too quickly, she cleans her old-fashioned finds in a suitably old-fashioned way.
With vintage clothes, it's better to hand wash them than to put them in the machine because they need to be washed more carefully.
So what are Beverley's top hand washing hacks? Hack 1. Always read the label.
Paying proper attention to the labels in your clothes and the washing instructions is a really good way of making them last longer and save you money. Be careful, swish it around a bit.
Ignoring the label could mean the difference between a fab frock and a ruined rag. Hack 2. Gently does it.
So we're going to wash these today in a very, very gentle washing powder so it's not going to damage anything.
Hack 3. Watch out for vintage stains.
Sometimes though, you put them in the bath and then it's all like tobacco and things like that come out of it. So if you're buying vintage, just give it a wash before you wear it.
Cigarette smoke. How very 1980s. To get these items professionally cleaned could cost around £12 for a dress and £4 per shirt. So mega savings for Beverley. And she can enjoy these 80s bangers for years to come.
These little tips and tricks are things that I love about this show. Everyone has like 2 or 3 little tips that you give, and they love that. It was something that I did a few different versions of my little tips and tricks, and they came out really, really well. I'm so pleased that they talked about how to look after your vintage clothes, because in the past we didn't have washers and dryers and things. Clothing wasn't made yesterday or last week, it was made 50 plus years ago. So washing them by hand is a great way to just make sure it's being washed a bit more gentle. My husband does help me, and I just want to give a shout out to my wonderful husband Lee, who at first was like, I don't want to be on this TV show, but then we realised there was a lot of things that I wanted to showcase us doing we wouldn't have been able to do if he wasn't helping me out, because things like bending over a bath can give me dizzy spells. I can't do that very easily, and I wanted to show that I can't just stand there and watch him do it. I have to have my chair there. It was very important to show my walking stick. I also use it's a rollator from Rolls Motion. I've talked about them a lot, but that rollator is amazing. It's a walker, so I can walk as much as I can, and then it will convert into a wheelchair, which means that I can walk around a shop and have a look at everything, but then between shops I can be in the wheelchair and save energy, lessen my pain and lessen the amount I'm walking. And it's been a lifesaver, and I'm not even remotely exaggerating. It's changed everything having that rollator, and it was important to me to show me using different walking aids, because people think if you're disabled you've got to be in a wheelchair and it's got to be full time and you've got to have this, and you've got there's these little boxes that the public think you have to be fitting into in order to be disabled. But that's not how it works. Disability is a spectrum. I'm not the same every day. There are some days I can't get out of bed. My husband's amazing, isn't he? Just seeing him washing my clothes just makes my heart just grow like the Grinch. But I'm not the Grinch. I love my husband so much, and it's just so amazing to see him being willing to be on this TV show, because he really was nervous about it. I'm very grateful for him. He's amazing. Shout out to all the carers out there who look after us, because you guys, you keep us going. You look after us with nothing but love. People who care for relatives, you don't get a lot of money for it. There's not a lot of thanks in it. It's hard work, you know. My husband's really great because he's taken on looking after my mom as well, and he's just an amazing person. I love him so much. I'm going to stop talking about my husband. Let's get back to the next bit of the show.
Over in Staffordshire, thrifting fanatic Beverley loves to live a nostalgic life while spending little. Today, she's on the hunt for some pieces that can give her living room a vintage vibe. If she was to go to an antique shop, this could cost hundreds. But Beverley's doing it on the cheap by heading to the local charity shop, where she's become part of the pre-loved furniture.
I like to come to town and come thrifting about once a month. Just come and have a look around.
When it comes to sniffing out charity shop bargains, Beverley's an expert.
This is amazing. It's rare that you see a punch bowl with all the glasses.
And she is in her element.
I love this picture down here. Can we get that? Oh, this is cute.
But Lee's thinking about logistics.
I think we're going to need a lorry.
Oh my gosh, they've got a teapot with strawberries on.
Beverley's quest for some distinctive decor is about to be derailed.
Oh, look at this tea and coffee thing.
She's clocked a crate of freshly donated stock.
This has just made my day. I'm going through the bags. This is like, I'm about to lose my mind with excitement.
Looks like this could take some time.
I love that. How beautiful is this? It went really well. So we got 17 items in total and it came to £33, which is such a bargain. We got some amazing things to decorate the house and make it look nice, so I'm really excited.
And the piece de resistance, a picture from the 1800s to hang pride and place in her living room.
That anywhere else probably costs, what, £40, £50? We've got another one that's similar and I think that was about £50.
She scored this pick from the past for just a £5.
You can literally redo your whole house. If you change to wanting purple in your living room, you can take the stuff you don't want, take it in, drop it in, and then get a whole new set of things. Come on, let's get home.
Now where's that lorry?
It is true though. Thrifting, you can decorate your whole home. Doesn't matter whether it's just you're going for this vintage look, you can get modern pieces as well. People are constantly changing things. In our society, we're very throwaway. Like we'll buy something and then we'll just get rid of it without a thought. The amount of times I find clothing that still has the tag on it, people have bought it and not used it. And I used to be the same. People are still doing that and they take their stuff down the charity shop. And because of that, you can get some right bargains. If you're looking for bedside tables, wardrobes, if you have just moved into a new place and you need something, have a look around your local charity shops. Be patient, have a look around. I do have a whole video of like thrifting tips for new thrifters, so I'll leave a link to that down below just in case this episode and me talking about it has got you wanting to check out the local charity shop. I hope it does.
Back in Staffordshire, retro queen Beverley is living the vintage fantasy without the fundage. As a style supremo, she just loves to find ways to zhuzh up something ordinary and make it retro chic. Today, she and husband Lee are giving some much needed pizzazz to one of Beverley's walking sticks, which she relies on every day to get around.
So I've had this walking stick for about 20 years, something crazy like that. I got it when I first got disabled.
This will give it a nice new starry look.
She hasn't got the budget for a flashy new one, but with help from her husband Lee and his trusty scissors, she's found a nifty way to add some sparkle to her stick for next to nought.
Washi tape is a really cheap and environmentally friendly way of jazzing up anything from mobility items to furniture.
Washi tape comes in thousands of different patterns, from glittery all the way to tie-dye. And it can cost less than £8 for 30 rolls. Beverley's chosen a pattern that reflects her passion for witchcraft.
I thought I'd go for a bit of a witchy look today, so it's a black tape with stars on gold and silver.
Pattern picked, get wrapping Lee.
Nice new look.
He's doing really well. It's a really fun thing to do together.
So there you go.
A wee snip and job's a good un. Beverley's got herself a truly unique walking stick for just £1.
Oh, it looks so nice.
If she was to buy a bespoke pattern walking stick online, it could cost up to £50. By going for the homemade option, she's potentially made a saving of 49 quid.
So much better than before.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what they say? Want to save some cashy? Get some washy. I'll get me things.
So here is the walking stick. It has stars all over it now. I bought this walking stick, about 20 years ago. It is quite worn on the handle, if you can see, and the paint had chipped a lot from just, wear and tear over the years, and I'd wanted to jazz it up for a while. I would love to be able to afford to get like some posh walking stick, but like they said, it costs a lot of money. So getting some tape, really easy way to just wrap the walking stick and give it a look. Like they said, there are loads of different ways of doing it. This isn't actually washi tape that I used. We went into Hobbycraft and they had this tape, and it's plastic tape, so it's waterproof. Costs like £1 for 2 rolls, and I didn't even use 1 roll to do my whole stick, and it's a really cheap, easy way of just jazzing it up. So if you are, disliking your wheelchair, disliking your walking stick, and you can't afford to upgrade, like I can't afford to buy a posh stick, I'm going to do this. And it's, that was months ago that I filmed this. I think it was August, the beginning of August. It's now October. So it's lasted. It isn't peeling off, it isn't away, and it looks really nice. So highly recommend. I stand by it. I stand by that. It worked well. And I use that stick every day, so it works.
Over in Staffordshire, vintage bargain boss Beverley is living her best retro life for less. Be it her home, her accessories, or her clothes, it's all from yesteryear. Even her hobbies are really old. No, I'm not talking about a passion for 70s punch bowls. Beverley is passionate about the ancient art of witchcraft.
I'm a practicing witch, and that involves working with spells, simmer pots, potions.
Today she's whipping up a cheap and cheerful witch's brew that she thinks will fill the house with positive vibes.
I'm using herbs in a spell to create prosperity for my home.
Prosperity, you say? May have to get that recipe off you.
That will bring in more, not just money, because prosperity is so much more than money. It can be joy and happiness and family.
This brew is dirt cheap to make, and if it works, it sure would make me happy. Don't worry, there's no eye of toad or tail of newt in it, just a few herbs.
You do need to have herbs in supply in your house, but you can buy a lot of them at the supermarket, or you can grow them in the garden like I do.
By growing her own ingredients, Beverley's making a good saving. Buying fresh herbs in the supermarket can cost 80p a bunch.
A couple of pieces of sage.
Growing your own herbs is a great cost-cutting tip for everyone, whether you're mixing up a potion or just a simple pesto.
So this has got chamomile, thyme, basil and sage in it, as well as some cinnamon sticks that I got from the supermarket.
And it's not just with the herbs that Beverley's making a magic saving.
This fondue set is from the 1970s. I think it was £3.50. Something crazy like that.
A genuine cauldron could set Beverley back over 30 quid. By going the more retro route, she's making a groovy saving.
I think people would expect me to have a big symbol drawn on the floor and to be chanting, or have a massive cauldron or big pointy hat, but this is generally how most witches practice.
For those not of the witchy persuasion, but who just want to enjoy some hot cheese, check out your local charity shop. There's plenty of fondue sets that were used once in 1974 and never used again hanging around.
It doesn't have to cost a lot of money to practice witchcraft.
With a final stir, the witch's brew is complete and Beverley can sit back and enjoy the fruits of her labour.
It smells absolutely incredible. It's really nice, fresh, lovely smell. And it's just infusing our house with beautiful energy. It was so important to me to talk about my witchcraft, as well as just talking about saving money and things like that. For me, being somebody who practices witchcraft and somebody who enjoys vintage fashion and is disabled, it was important to me to use this opportunity to try and break down some walls. And witchcraft is something that people assume is evil, people assume is dark, or something that you should be afraid of, or even people don't believe it exists. They just think it's something that people have an aesthetic for, which some people do. For me personally, it's about spreading positivity and bringing good into my home. That's witchcraft, and using spells and potions and lotions and all the rest of it to achieve that is a good thing. A lot of the things that I use in my witchcraft, I thrifted. I treated myself recently, and that'll be in the next video, to 2 items that are going to go into making my own witchcraft room. That'll be my next video. It'll be out on Tuesday, not Monday next week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Put your little notification on. So I really hope that you enjoyed watching this episode along with me. I know I have people who have subscribed to me for a long time, and friends and family who don't live in the UK, and so you all thought you wouldn't get to see it, but hopefully this way you'll at least have seen my scenes. And it was nice to be able to talk a little bit more about what it was like and why I chose to say such things and why I chose to share certain parts of my life. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to head down below and leave it a cheeky little like so I know that you enjoyed it and I can bring more like this to the channel in future. Don't forget also to leave me a comment. I love chatting to you. Let me know, did you watch the full episode? Have you watched this show before, or did you just enjoy the chance of watching my scenes with me? This was a really good episode. I enjoyed everybody's story, so yeah, let's get talking about it. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. And last but certainly not least, if you like my content and you like my face, don't forget to head down below, click that subscribe button, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here Mondays and Fridays, my health permitting. I always do my very best to be here with you every week, twice a week. Take care everyone, I hope you have a lovely weekend and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!